Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migration such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our quick start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wild Goose Case, a series where we show you some of the amazing things that people are doing with Goose. I'm your host for today. Everyone is unable to join us, unfortunately. But today I'm going to be showing you an exciting use case, and we have a guest. So I hope everyone is still excited to be here. And I want to say hello to everyone in chat. Ravi from San Diego. AKA, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I'm joining us here from, Amsterdam. It's getting hot here, so it's pretty cool. And I'm going to just jump right into it. I'm going to invite our guest for today, Kirk. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for joining the stream. I'm excited to hear about your Wild Goose Case today. But before we get started into that, can you give us a little bit of introduction of into your background and what you do today?
Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Graphlit. We build what we call a knowledge API. So you can pull in any kind of data from Slack, email, files into a common knowledge base that's searchable and then integrates with large language models.
Awesome. So basically it's an MCP for MCPs or something different?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like sort of a backplane for MCPs. So it's something you can then share data across MCPs or MCP clients.
MCP client, right? That makes sense. Before I go to the audience again, I just want to ask if there was like the reason, for example, to decide to go with this approach. I'm guessing. I mean, I do not know basically the origin of Graphlit. If it was something that came out of, the need for the growth of MCPs itself, or if it was something that had like a prior use case before MCPs were introduced and you started to develop something like that. So I wanted to just get an idea of the transition.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can show the web page. I can put that up. Move this over. But yeah, so this is us. So what we've actually looked at is it's something we've actually been working on for several years. And MCP is another kind of iteration in how we present the data. So we can bring in and ingest any data from, here it even says, documents, email, videos, and
that bit just so that people can
see. Yeah. You can see that, okay.
Yeah.
Zoom in a little more.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, you can build chatbots, you can extract data from that. So we bring together web crawling, PDF extraction, audio transcription, and you can bring any data into this, and then we provide an API. And so now MCP, you could think of, there's a kind of layer over here that would be MCP on top of our API. And so we also provide Python and TypeScript, SDKs, but really it's all about ingesting data, RAG, which most people know, kind of how do you retrieve and integrate with LLMs. And then we're also multimodal. So
That sounds amazing. But if I get you right, basically, I can bring in any source of data. Could be an API, could be a local document or something I upload to Graphlit, and then it stands there as the GraphQL API to the to the MCP clients to interact with as an MCP. Well, that is amazing.
And then we have SDKs to make it easier. So we have like a pip install for a Graphlit client. So I mean, we provide in whatever language. You don't have to talk directly to GraphQL. You can talk to our SDKs. And then we have a developer portal that you can get like your API keys. You can get a playground to like chat with your data and things like that as well.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna say a bit of welcome to more people that have joined in the chat before we jump right into the demo. So Ebony, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry you don't feel too good today. Hello Tanya, how are you doing? AKA, I'm guessing this is about me. Adewale Ace, you can call me any of that. So thank you everyone. We're gonna jump right into the demo right now, and I'll just show us all the amazing features and powerful tools available for Graphlit. Thank you. Please take it away.
Awesome. Well, let's see. So I'm really excited about MCP because it's another way to consume the data that we bring in to Graphlit. And so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. And so this is our MCP server. It's open source on GitHub. It just requires signing up and getting a free API key with the platform. That's for the portal you saw before. But like I said, you can ingest anything from Slack, Discord, Google Drive, email, and we automatically, without any code, bring this in. We have like over 50 tools now for retrieval. You can even do like image descriptions. You can retrieve relevant sources. You can extract structured JSON, ingest all these different types of data types, and then a wide variety of data connectors to bring data into a common knowledge base, and even incorporating web crawling and things like that, as well as outgoing notifications, which I'll show in the demo today for Slack, email, webhook, and then we've recently added, you can even tweet from the MCP. And so, it basically just, you need these environment variables, which you get from the portal, which I think was back here. So it's basically these three pieces of data here is all you need to configure the MCP. And really, we can get started. So the NPX is the way we launch it today. And we're going to be doing authenticated once the spec is kind of shaking out now for MCP, but we'll definitely have a hosted version of this with authentication. But kind of everybody's doing NPX at the start, but this is going to change really quickly.
When I first came across Graphlit, the first thing that came to my head was this Lord of the Rings reference, like one MCP to rule them all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any Lord of the Rings fan in the house. So I'm guessing, is that like the vision for it eventually, for it to be able to like
because I think it's we've focused on the ingestion side and the retrieval side so far, and some notifications, but we're also can do things like publishing, and so like create a version of something and push it back to Google Drive, push it back to Notion, and that's the part we're working on now, is to kind of finish and kind of round out the full suite of operations.
Sounds good. Let's do the demo.
Okay, let's see here. Up.
If anyone has any questions, sorry to interrupt, Kirk. Feel free to ask any questions or how to get started. We have the link on the screen somewhere, I think probably below you. So feel free to check it out, and also if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comments. Thank you.
Yeah, let's see. Is that? Let's see if I can zoom in a little more. Let's see if I can just zoom it maybe a little bit extra here. face. There we go.
Oh yeah, you can use Command Plus, I think, as well. But
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Command Plus. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you could do that a couple times, maybe.
Good one. Okay, I normally do it on the trackpad, and I was like, I don't know how to do this. Okay.
Can everyone see this, by the way? Let's know if we should make it bigger or not.
Is this do another one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good.
And let me find my prompt here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have a prompt that I built. If you're familiar with like deep research in OpenAI, ChatGPT, even like what Google's doing with Notebook LLM, the idea of ingesting a bunch of data, sort of summarizing it, piecing it together, organizing it, and then publishing something new out. And what I've been really happy with Goose in that you can actually do a lot of this deep research just with Goose and our MCP server. So I'll put this prompt in here. So I'll let you read it for a minute. But it basically says, let's start a new research project doing competitive analysis on AI agent memory frameworks. It's something I wanted to look into. Yeah. I want to gather information on this across Reddit, Twitter, podcasts, web searches, and summarize into a final report, which I can listen to and which gets posted to our Slack, including a link to the published MP3. Ingest everything in the knowledge base first so we can use it later. And also what's cool is you can say snapshot the research plan, like keep track of what you're doing, and check that into the knowledge base as well. And then preview everything you're planning so we can make sure you're on the right track before starting.
This sounds like a very powerful prompt.
Yeah. And so with the preview, so some of these are just things I've learned is it's if you ask it to preview, it'll kind of walk you through the steps. It won't just run off and do everything. So like if you use that terminology, it's pretty good about kind of giving you a chance to make sure everything's working before it goes on. So I mean we're gonna do this live. So I did it last night, seemed to work okay, but we'll see if I don't figure. And so here's what it's doing. It's saying, I'll help you create a comprehensive research report. Here's what I'm going to do. Information gathering, search Twitter for posts, find discussions on Reddit, ingest everything into the Graphlit knowledge base, and then analyze it, and then document as it's going. So let's see what it says here. So does this plan look good to you? Would you like me to make any adjustments? Let's see. I think I will. Let's see. I know I've let me copy the prompt here. Yeah. Good. And then, but try and find other frameworks too. Okay.
Oh, nice. So basically, it's giving us a preview of the entire plan, what it's going to go through, the information gathering, the analysis, and also creating this report and where to take it to. And now
exactly. And so now when it calls the tools, that's where it gets interesting. We have a tool called ingest text, which you could think of like it's saving, basically saving something for later. You can give it text; it'll save like almost like a sticky note. It gives it a name, it gives a text, and then it called that tool. It saved the research plan. The one cool thing, let me open this up again. We can go into our portal and we can actually look at what it saved. So here is the text in our portal. And so here's the actual markdown and everything.
Yeah. Awesome.
125 is good. But yeah, so this is actually, so the thing to remember is as it's doing things through the MCP server, we have our API back there as well. So this is like the storage of like instead of Notion or Google Drive, like you have your Graphlit knowledge base that you're actually putting the data into. So I just want to call that out because it's kind of cool that you can actually kind of watch as it's creating this checklist and doing its things. It's actually writing into the database.
Is there a storage limit on that maybe?
On the free tier, there's some storage limits, but it's like you can upgrade to. We have paid tiers that start at like $49 a month, but you can upload up to a gig of content, and 1,000 items on the free tier, which is pretty good. I mean,
That's pretty good.
okay, so where it's at now, it says, okay, let's search Twitter for relevant content. So it has its own query, and let's see, now it's going to do another query. Let's just let it run here.
Yeah.
And now it's going to search Reddit. And so it actually figured out, this is interesting. So it said, here's the subreddits that it's using. So r/machine learning, r/artificial, it figured that out itself, which is kind of cool.
I was just about to ask, because even with the tool calling, do you have limitations on like the websites or the platforms that you can ingest from? Or is it something that is learning on the go?
It's pretty open, and that's where I'll kind of just got to keep it. And here's another thing. So it did relevant podcasts. We've integrated with something called PodScan.
Yeah.
And then we've also integrated with Exa, and we also support Tavily as well. And so it's actually, I mean, it's going through doing that. We just did that one prompt, and I kind of did another little tiny prompt, but it's doing this whole thing automatically. Yeah. The one cool thing is we have the idea of collections. And this is one thing I found really fun with Goose is it saw that we had collection support, and it asked, should we put things in collections? So I never even prompted that. It's now going through, and it's actually taking the results of all these searches, essentially like folders almost. It's creating these own named collections on the fly, and I never actually asked for it. Okay, so now retrieve sources is essentially it's the R in RAG. So it's essentially vector search and text. It's hybrid search that pulls back all of the resources that we've ingested.
Across the collections.
Yep, across all the collections. Let's see what it does here.
This is really exciting, to be honest, because I use Tavily for web search in general, but just being able to plug into any of the spaces that you've shown so far. Yeah,
this is actually kind of cool. So now we can look over here and be like, okay, well, what did it pull in? What's this? Great. This is a Reddit. Oops. Okay. That's it. Wait, I lost that.
That is insane. Before we go back to the demo real quick, we have a very interesting question here that says, are you having Goose ask you before calling tools to prevent rate limiting, or do you read each tool request before approving?
Yeah, you can set this in Goose configure, and I do it just kind of as a safety mechanism for now with our tools, because I want to kind of wait and see what it's doing. But you can actually configure it to, like, I think some of the IDEs call it YOLO mode, where it just like does it automatically. But I think it's there's like an auto approve mode that you can set in Goose as well.
Right, exactly. So you can always choose 3 different types of mode. There's the autonomous mode, where Goose can just keep it going, keep it moving. You can leave it, go grab a cup of coffee, or you can have the smart approval mode. So if it's gonna call a tool that you should probably check out first, it's gonna ask you, do you want to proceed like this? Or you can also choose a chat mode where it's just gonna be conversational, and Goose is not gonna do anything without you asking it to.
Exactly. So let's see here what it's doing. Oh, here's our comprehensive summary report. So it actually is writing this in the background. So this whole thing, it just wrote up for us, kind of like a deep research kind of thing. This is really cool. It did this little checkbox thing to compare. Like, if you go back, I'll show you the prompt we started with. It did this all automatically. Okay, and so it wrote that entire thing. The cool thing we can also do is we've integrated with 11 Labs. So if you're familiar with the different voices that you can do text to audio, text to speech, we actually have integrated that. So you can publish as one of our MCP tools to an audio voice, and it'll publish that basically that that memory report that we put out there as an MP3. And so we can actually listen to that in a second when that finishes.
That is crazy.
And so I've used this for, like, hey, go summarize my email that came in today. Give me the highlights, give me an audio thing that I could listen to, and publish it to Slack. And then I can basically just click on it and kind of catch up on what email I got overnight or something like that. And I mean, we've always been able to do this through our API and our SDKs. We had to write code. And the cool thing I really like about MCP is essentially it's giving all the capabilities we've had for the last couple of years, but now people can use it without code.
Yeah. Quick question from Max. What do you use for text-to-speech?
So for text-to-speech, we integrated with 11 Labs. And then for speech-to-text, we've integrated with DeepGram and Assembly AI. Okay, so now it's retrieved the audio content. It gets a URL, and it calls our send Slack notification tool. Let's see, poster summary. Oh, this is interesting. So it actually guessed about research updates.
I was just about to ask. Did you just specify that?
No, see, I didn't say that, which is interesting. Usually, I've done it before where it asks me. So let's see what it does here. If I can correct it. So this is this is one suggestion I have for how do you break out of the loop. And so I'm going to hit Control C and restart the session. But let's see. I don't know if it has the memory now, but so this is interesting because I've had trouble with this with Goose of like, okay, if I want to guide it in a new direction, how do you kind of break out that? And it does have some trouble with that today, which is tricky. But let me go back to the portal here.
So I think if I remember correctly, Control J would interrupt the current process without terminating your session. And you can
interesting.
Yeah, so instead of doing Control C to cancel the operation, you could have interrupted it with Control J.
I might have screwed it up because now. What's that?
I was gonna say you can also still resume that session actually.
Oh, how do you do that?
So I think can you scroll up maybe to the top? You can find the name of the session. Normally it does that when you end the session.
Starting session.
So we have so the last name, the 2025, that is the name of the session. And then I can send this to you real quick. Just go session -R, I think. Try to remember this on the fly. The name of the session. -R-N, that is the name. 1 second.
Let's see, something like that.
Yes. Yes, that should be it.
Oh, okay, not with the JSON L.
You couldn't resume, it seems.
Yeah, it had a double extension at the end.
Right, you need to exit this session first before resuming the session because you're already in the current session. So you need to run control.
Sorry, you're right. Okay,
so now we resume the session.
Okay, let me take this back here.
Exactly.
Oops, exactly. See, I was actually in the session at that point. There we go.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It seemed to know what it was doing, even like surprisingly.
That is true. It was resuming it in a different way. Actually, that might have been fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if let's finish previous workflow and post to Slack channel.
I'm definitely gonna try that. Resuming a session.
Boo.
I see.
It doesn't work. I've gotten this error before, like where it gets confused about the tool used. So maybe that's but okay. I mean, we can definitely see the let's see if I go over to my Slack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it never actually posted to Slack, but we have the
we deactivated or we rejected the tool use.
Yeah. But the cool thing, when we bring it back in to Graphlit, we actually transcribe it. So this here is a full transcription. Let me bring this over.
Of the audio file?
Yeah. So it actually generated this and then transcribed it. And so we have the MP3, we have the actual like report that it was it generated as audio. And then let's see if I can see if this actually works. I can't copy that. Oh wait, no, it's in the JSON response. So let's see up here. Let's see if this actually just kind of doing this on the fly, but let's see if this.
It's. Michelle said this is an interesting live stream because we're playing with fire on the fly.
Exactly. Okay, so I think.
I wonder what would have happened if we kept going. I know, right? That's the first time I'm actually having Goose.
Oh,
An
it needs
active
a.
Goose session, resume another session. That was interesting.
Okay, here I know how I can do it. Because here, let me just clear the screen here. This session.
Right.
Okay, I know the ID of it, and so get that ID.
Oh,
Hey, so we have content with ID. Get a playable for this MP3.
that'll be interesting.
And one thing I didn't mention is, so we're exposing our object model as resources. So we have resources for content, for collections, and other things. So here it actually knew. So it generated a pre-signed URL for me. And let's see. Oh, where is it coming out? Yeah. Can you hear that? Was that playing?
I think you might need to share the tab specifically and not the screen.
Okay.
For us to hear the sound. For
Okay.
you to share sound, yeah. So you can stop this sharing and then do it again, maybe.
Yeah, let's try and.
In the meantime, yes, Max is. I mean, shout out to Max. You cannot point out that Kirk is on Windows. That is amazing. Who's running on Windows via WSL at the moment? I think.
Yep. Yeah, this is doing it in WSL. Yeah.
Exactly. So most
Okay,
working
can you
magic make Goose work on Windows.
Mem
All right.
0, Letta and Cogni.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Oh, cool. Okay, let me zoom ahead up a little bit.
User Tool System. Integration. Capabilities. Extensive support.
Yeah, so basically all I did is I essentially published that audio report out, and I could have. Yeah, let me present my screen again here. Entire screen.
That was an
There we go.
11-minute video, audio rather.
Yeah, yeah. And here I can actually ask, like, what audio files do we have? And so look, it automatically knew to filter by file type audio. And now it's like, oh, here, I have this MP3. So essentially we have like a content management system exposed as an MCP that is searchable. So like, but the cool thing about it is it's not just Google Drive doing this. It's not just Notion doing this. We've now made this searchable across Reddit, across Twitter, across anything you want, all in your own Graphlit project.
Yeah. So basically, we have a content management system where the source of the content is literally anything.
Yeah, yeah, and that's our goal. I mean, we wanted. There's tools that do this for like enterprise, like Glean or different things like that. But essentially, we're kind of Glean in a box. Like you can use it for any project as an API and much more cost effective. But we also, with the MCP support, integrate this into any ID. And I like using Goose just for my testing because as a CLI, it's just really quick to work with. And so I'm running Windows with Ubuntu and just running in WSL2, which works great for me.
We have a question similar to just what you just said. Is Graphlit running locally? Because this is extremely fast, just like you pointed out.
No. So Graphit's running in the cloud. So there's, and we can even look at the code if anybody's interested. The MCP is open source, and we can even look at the tools here. And so let's look at like retrieve sources. I'll make this bigger. And so this is one of our tools, retrieve sources. If you haven't built MCPs before, giving very detailed descriptions on the tools and also the parameters is really important. That's a big hint for anybody building MCP. This makes a huge difference in how the quality of it calling your tool correctly. So you'll see a lot of our tools are pretty thorough of like giving hints of what's the default, what's optional, what's not optional, stuff like that. And then what it's doing is it's connecting through our SDK, which is this, using the environment variables, internally, it's creating a JWT, and that's where we can, in the future, we'll pass the JWT through the MCP hosted server. But here we're just generating one from the environment variables, and then this is just calling our SDK. So it's just, this is our TypeScript SDK or Node.js SDK. So it's a pretty a wrapper around that. Mm-hmm. And then we format that back for, JSON, from the return from the SDK back as JSON for the MCP client. Pretty simple. And we just have we have like 55 tools now or whatever. We can even do like image retrieval on give it a geo fence of points, and it'll find images that were taken in that geo fence, like all kinds of stuff. But it's a great way to, and so it's a really, great way from all the, exposing all the capability that we already have in here.
Is it possible in any way to retrieve data from from behind the paywall or dedication, stuff like that at the moment?
That's a good question. Not really, because we have web search. So this does use a headless browser. We don't deal with the authentication from that. But you can. The nice thing about this is that you're essentially passing Markdown around, or JSON or Markdown around, depending. And you can use other tools with it. So if you have like BrowserBase has something called Stagehand, and there's other tools like that, you could use that for the data capture and then save it into us. And then we'll make it searchable.
Nice. I have a quick question related to what you just showed up.
Yeah.
What is your process for figuring out a good description for tools or their parameters? And do you ever tweak the MCP based on how Goose is or isn't using the tool as you expected?
That's a good question. This has just been a lot of trial and error, honestly. We had built a set of tools that's also open source, that is Crew AI compatible and with other agent frameworks, and that's kind of where this MCP was based on. So we, I guess last year built a set of tools that you could. It was with our Python SDK, and I learned that how you document the tools for the agents helps the tool call it. So I kind of went through that process first, and then a lot of this has just evolved over time. Probably look at the commits. Yeah. Like here, it's like this one I think I added recently is like, if it's searching for a podcast, only use Podscan. And then like giving it a knowledge that it's like, hey, we're not actually ingesting things here. We're just enumerating them, and that kind of stuff. So that helps guide it a lot, because like, as you saw with, it's not giving you a chance to get in the middle of what it's doing for its thinking. So you really have to, the tools give you that, or you have to tell it through, hints or things like that to say, hey, check in with me as you're going.
Awesome. Well, we have someone here that's been looking forward to trying Graphlit through MCPs. Oh, this video is for you. I hope you can try that now. Awesome. Someone is asking for GUI for Goose Windows. That is coming. I think Mark's already gave a shout out. Getting very close to sharing that, so you guys should have it very, very soon. Awesome. Is there anything, like in the works or like next steps for Graphlit? Continue like improvements or something to look forward to in the roadmap?
Yeah, for sure. We're continuing to add more tools. Really every day, every week. So keep an eye on that. You can think of the content that you're ingesting as kind of your long-term memory for the knowledge that you bring into the project. We're working on short-term memory, kind of agent type memory, because we do actually have a full RAG pipeline, what we call conversations. And so it's like a sequential conversation history, like OpenAI Assistance API or something like that. Mm-hmm. So we're actually working probably by next week, if at the most, of having that as a tool. So Goose could essentially have threaded conversations that it peels off to actually call and do. You could call Gemini with it. You could call Grok with it, models. And so that kind of would let you use other models within Goose as well.
That is cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I don't know if you have any more questions in chat, or if you also have anything else to add before we call it a beautiful session. I think we've learned a lot.
No. I think I'll just say that, like, if you're interested, check out our MCP server. I mean, give it a star if you want, and if you like it. But also, we have a Discord, and we love to chat with people on our Discord. We have an MCP channel, especially, and I mean, I think we're learning every day how people, want to use this, and different people that aren't maybe technical or not developers per se, and we just want to make it easy for folks to use this.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing this and for answering all the questions and showing what you're building with Graphlit. I'm super excited to try this now, actually, because I use Stavili in general and also, of course, plugging multiple MCPs. But just seeing it in action and seeing the powerful tools that has been developed is quite mind blowing, to say the least.
And I think, it's kind of an intentional, like, you get a lot of unbundled tools out there today. We're kind of taking the approach of what happens if you bundle them. And I think having that consistent knowledge that you could be in Goose and then jump over to Cursor or Windsurf or something like that, and even Claude Desktop, and have the data that we just adjusted here available to you in Claude Desktop. That's really the important point of it, is you're creating that long-term memory. And I think it makes it, it's super useful.
Yeah, ONE MCP to rule them all indeed. Once again, thank you so much, Kirk, for joining. Thanks, everyone, as well, for joining. You can catch up with us on Discord. I think that's Discord. I don't have the link in my head right now. But let me see if I have. Yes, exactly. Discord.com/blog open source for all things Goose, and also blog open source. And also catch up with Kirk as well. He's on Discord to chat about Graphlit or anything else. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you the next one. Thank you so much, Kirk.
Thanks, everybody.
Want Goose to automate tasks simply by listening to you? Let's plug and play to find out how. Let's provide Goose with the command it needs to connect to the Speech MCP extension. Now watch me type and listen out for Goose.
Hi, what would you like to do today? Or is there anything you need help with?
I would like you to find the file speech-mcp, and I want us to update the TLDR note that we have on there and instead make it important.
I found the files. I'll update the note in Speech MCP. MD to change TLD are not too important. Let me first open the file and locate the section to modify. All done, the TLDR section has been updated to important in the file. If you need further edits or anything else, feel free to ask.
That was insane. To get started, visit block.github.io/goose.